Hello and good morning once again. It's time for our social segment, and today we're talking about some of the strikes that have been happening in regards to organized labor and the pension schemes. Now, with me this morning, I have George Spencer-Quay, who's going to be answering some questions in regards to this current situation. Good morning, George.
Good morning, Ben.
How's everything going? Under pressure?
We're managing and keeping well.
All right. First off, I mean, there seems to be a general outcry at the moment as to why this particular pension scheme is being imposed onto organized labor. Now, obviously, they're running the second tier of the pension scheme, and it's been proposed that there is a government, how would I say, appointed pension trustee to be able to deal with the second tier. Why is that happening at the moment, and why is it being imposed onto the general public?
Well, let me say a very good morning to viewers. And in addressing the issue, I think first of all we must identify NPRA as an authority. That's the regulatory body, as an independent institution.
Right.
So first of all, I beg to differ from that assertion that it's a government imposed. Most often than not, we are tempted to see almost every institution, mostly, or largely, almost all the government institutions as government. Meanwhile, these are institutions which are running on themselves. They are daily operations and stuff. With just the appointment of perhaps the CEOs and the board. They run like any other corporate institution.
Okay.
The only difference is that 100% shares of those institutions are in the hands of government. Or let me just put it out for you. Those shares are for you and I.
Yes.
So we must situate NPRA in that context. It's an independent, though it's a government, but it's an independent authority.
Okay.
Coming back to the issue between PAT, that's the Pensions Alliance Trust and Organized Labor, and NPRA, I think that it's unfortunate we've even got into this place in the first place. But first thing is for us to understand the background to this issue. I've gotten to know that at the time PAT, the Pensions, permit me if I say PAT, that's the Pensions Alliance Trust, was introduced to these public servants. At the time, I am told they were more or less like the only approved pension trust to run at a time.
Right.
And because they wanted to separate the first tier from the second tier, and the fact that we had to implement that, because we only had SNIT, which was running, and as at 2010 when the scheme took its full course, SNIT was still holding on to the second tier contribution. And let's not forget, the second tier contribution is mandatory, it's compulsory.
Yes.
So employees or less, employees were still contributing. Unfortunately, were still going to SNIT.
Right.
So there was this scheme, I think, and PAT came in and then took over. I agree with the call for by organized labor to have their own independent, approved trustees. And as we talk now, there are over 20 or so approved trustees, and that is what the law says.
Right.
They organized labor, or the employees or employer can choose whoever they want as whoever to run as their trustee. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, we've had to had this long issue of going forward and coming back over whether they should run it or not. But for me, PAT to transfer the funds to their approved trustees that they want to work with. For me, I think that it's somebody might have slept on his job. It's unfortunate we've gotten to this point. This is not the time where we should be hearing about a strike. What you and I know in regards to strike.
Yeah.
We've spoken on other strikes on different occasions. It runs down the economy with regards to productivity and output.
Exactly.
And even the person organizing that 20 or 1 hour or 2 hour press conference, when that person should be working, it's lots of productivity will result in less output.
Yes.
So I fully agree with the position of organized labor on this. Mm-hmm. The law backs them. They should be given the opportunity. That is why I'm so happy with the president's call. We need an investigation to this. If somebody slept on his job, that person ought to be punished. I don't see why we should get to this place in the first place.
That's good to hear. Now, in this particular instance where the NPRA are in this particular situation, is there a middle ground that can be achieved? For instance, if they come back and say, well, no, we're still going to continue with this imposition, is there a middle ground that we can actually come to without there being a strike and somewhat getting what we want from the NPRA?
We thought we were going to hear from Organized Labour yesterday, but apparently I only believe that they seem to be happy with the president directive.
Okay.
As at now, I don't believe that NPRA can go ahead and say, no, we still want to go with the imposition of PAT on the workers. It's that is not what the law says, so they cannot do that. Unfortunately, if the law was the other way around, then we can go in that direction. They can't do that.
Okay.
Labour has the right to appoint its own trustees. They must be given the leeway. They must be given the opportunity to do so. I believe that perhaps, I mean, it's a competition. If PAT is offering the best with regards to what others are offering, I believe that most of them will choose PAT. Yeah. They should be given the opportunity to, because at the end of the day, what is pensions? Pensions is just about, I mean, income after retirement, and it has to. If you are having a decent level of or standard of living, you want to maintain that. And one of the core objectives of this treaty is to make sure that people live a decent life after their working period. And that is why they need to invest. The most important thing about investment is that you are looking at your returns on investment. So if PAT is offering the best, and that is why they want to see what others are offering.
That's right.
Decent competition, and we cannot run away from this. So I'm sorry, I mean, I think that, like I said earlier on, somebody had either slept on this, because I don't see why we should even get to this place. And I hope that the president's directive with regards to the investigation is hasting so that we get to resolve this matter.
All right, let's just say, for instance, or hypothetically, that we do find a private company and we are able to start the second tier of the pension scheme with this particular private company. Will the NPRA still have a watchdog effect on them? Will they still be making sure that they are actually discharging their duties and investing the pensions effectively?
Oh yes, I mean, NPR has the regulator has that mandate. It ought to be monitoring all the approved trustees that are in the system. As of now, I wouldn't be able to say whether they are doing their job to perfection or they are not. But and they have the authority also carry out independent. They have the opportunity to also carry out independent audits of these approved trustees, because at the end of the day, it's about funds of people. We all know how the financial markets have quite been a bit turbulent in recent times. So NPA has they have that mandate to protect what you and I are contributing. It is mandatory, unlike the third tier, which is optional. This one is mandatory. It ought to be protected.
It has to be done,
The NPRA must carry out its duties as legislated in the Pensions Act 2008, Act 766. Whether the organized labor come in with new, whether they go to new trustees, or they even decide to stay with PAT, NPRA has to do its job. They have no option. They must carry out their responsibilities. When you check that responsibility, somebody ought to pay for that.
Okay. So what's the next step? I mean, you said you haven't heard from organized labor as yet. But, we're hoping that they are happy with the president's directive. But if not, what will be the next step for yourselves? Because obviously, strikes for 9 separate, this whole organized labor, 9 different factions of it, it's going to be pretty huge on the economy and on the nation.
Oh yeah, I agree, and I think that at least with this government, we can rest assured when it comes to the rule of law. We have demonstrated that in times past. We have not interfered with the judiciary. We have not interfered with the rule of law when it comes to this government. This is what the law says. Some way, somehow, it looks as if that law has been has been broken or
Overlooked.
Or overlooked. So what the president has asked is that let's investigate. Why did this even have to happen, and why did we even get to the point where Labour has to threaten strike? When we establish that, I believe that whatever actions ought to be taken to reverse this decision would be taken, and believe that the rule of law will prevail in this matter. Organized Labour will get the opportunity to appoint their own trustees. I believe that PAT can go to the market as well and present better options to the labor unions if they accept it, fair enough. But then the rule of law must work. The competition rules must be observed, and I don't see organized labor going on strike, because they were very articulate when it came to the issue of the strike. I think somewhere on Thursday.
Yes.
Now they've heard from the number one gentleman of the land.
Yeah.
They know that they will get the opportunity to do what they are asking. What they are asking is within the remit of the law, and they believe that this is a government that they can trust when it comes to issues of rule of law, when it comes to applying the rule or the law when it has to be applied. Okay. I don't see any strike in the foreseeable future. What I see is the law working to the betterment of both organized labor and as well as NPRA and any other a trustee out there who may even want to get one or some of these labor unions as well.
At the moment we're actually trying to get somebody from the organized labor on the line to see what they have to say in regards to this. But in the meantime, we've spoken, like we said, on several different issues, which mostly seem to be getting this situation whereby people feel that they have to strike. What do you think is stopping governing bodies, people who are in power, at preempting these things and actually stopping them before they actually come around?
Well, I am not a labor expert, and I won't pretend to be one. But what I know is that strike is a form of is a bargaining tool for labor unions. You cannot take that away from them. When they want something, they don't get it after negotiations, or maybe even during negotiations when they are not getting what they want. What they normally do is that they resort to strike, which is within the remit of the law. Unfortunately, we have seen some illegal strikes.
True.
We have seen some illegal strikes, and that for me, it's unfortunate. But we have seen strikes where it's been labor unions have been taken to court and they've won the case. Perhaps in recent times was what happened on I think was it yesterday, where Potak was asked to go into arbitration with the NLC and I think GES, the Education Ministry as well. Fair enough. You don't want a situation where people go on strike, but it is part and parcel of democracy. It is a bargaining tool for workers. You cannot take that away from them. You may be able to preempt sometimes, but even if you preempt, when they are hell bent on a position, and sometimes it has to do with communication as well.
Yeah.
When the communication chain is broken, when they are not getting the needed information, and sometimes the communication chain is broken not because somebody wants to stifle information from getting to it, but because perhaps a conclusive solution has not been arrived at, and you do not want to give out any false information. Right. So we are restricted in a way. But with strikes, even in the biggest democracies, the most developed countries in the world, not too long ago on Thursday, teachers all over UK went on strike, a day strike. They wore red, asking for improved conditions of service. It happens everywhere. We've seen that happen in the US. We've seen that happen in other parts of Africa. You cannot take that away from workers. I believe that if you have an issue here and it's not being addressed, not quite recently, I think somewhere last year, workers of TV3 as well. I'm going to
stop for 1 second. We've actually managed to get the gentleman on the line. On the line right now, we have Mr. Kwesi Danso Achampong. He's a labour consultant, and he'll be talking to us on the phone. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
How are you this morning?
Very great. Okay.
Great, we thank God. Now, we're just talking this morning, we're trying to find out, in regards to this imminent strike, whether or not you will actually go ahead. We've heard that the president has directed that this issue be investigated properly. Are you satisfied with that directive thus far?
The line is not too good. From what I heard from yesterday's a briefing I had,
Yes.
in respect of this, the management of the occupational pension fund.
That's correct.
That is beginning to create poverty. But I think that we need to examine the law. The law says that the pension, the social security one, will be managed by two. Then the occupational pension and then the third tier are family managed. And therefore, the import of it is that it should not go under any state regulated service. It should go to a private fund, But I think that it's important that we put this in context. I mean, dealing with pension funds, the concern of workers is far, but that of government should also not be underestimated, in the sense that when pension funds go wrong, as they did in the US, in respect of error, where other people have managed their pension funds over the period and the whole thing got back.
Yes.
The implication was massive. And therefore, I think that it's important that both government, that is an interested party, because it's also paying for its employees. And the employees who are the owners of the fund need to have an amicable understanding as to who to manage the fund.
Yes.
But the word is that it should be privately managed. And therefore, it should not go strictly under any government regulated institution, either by law or by anything. It should still be under the private managers. But the government will have a say and ensure that those who are going to manage the fund are people who can manage the fund to the extent that workers will live by to enjoy the fruit of that, instead of the money going into the hands of some squanderers, and then they can becoming a national crisis over the head of government to solve.
Yeah.
So these are some of the things that my concern is that the two parties, government is raising an issue, the workers think that things should not go under the state management scheme, and therefore they need to sit down and ensure the fund managers are credible people who will be able to manage the fund, so that the time of the workers will need the money.
Okay.
They have the fund to follow.
Now, with the statement made by the president yesterday saying that this issue should be investigated, are you happy with that? And will you be calling off the strike, or will you be going ahead? I said, will you be going ahead with the strike, even though the president has stated that there will be an investigation?
Yeah, for the workers, when they are thinking about something, if you don't need them around the round table conference for you to resolve, the pressure from the members that will go strike and put the government behind the wall or something. And therefore, I think that the government should not allow this thing to lead to a strike action.
Okay.
So when you're talking of the occupational pension scheme, it affects almost the private sector and the public sector. And therefore, if the workers have raised concern, I think that it's important that the ministry create a forum for all of them to go and digest the pros and cons of this thing, so that they can come out with an amicably acceptable method of managing this fund. And I would also say that the government concern should be appreciated, the workers' concern should be appreciated. How to strike the balance is what I think they need. I don't think they try the government wait for this thing to go bring about national state.
Okay. And I'm going to ask you the same question. Do you think there is a middle ground that can be achieved at all?
Yes, I think so. Because it's a negotiable thing. The law says it's a privately managed fund. That is the law. Mm-hmm. But the government also is concerned that they want the thing to be properly protected. I think that's where they're coming from. And it's a concern. So the question is, let's sit down. Who should qualify? What criteria or qualification the manager is supposed to bring on board that will be acceptable to all? So that at the end of the day, the fund will be protected. Then we don't run ourselves into the error situation. So once the two sides have this common concerned or protecting the fund, we should be able to reach an amicable settlement. Then I think that organized labor should meet the government, and the government should also not be so consumed in its own position. It should be sensible, so that they can meet and get this matter resolved without resorting into a national strike.
Okay. I want to thank you so much for joining us this morning, sir. Thank you so much. All right, so that one on the phone was Mr. Kwesi Danso Acheampong. He's a labor consultant, and he was just speaking to us via the phone in regards to this particular issue. So, George, what do you like to end on? I mean, what do you want the public to know in regards to what it is that your entities are doing and to ensure that the strike doesn't come off?
First of all, I think that the president has spoken at the right time. I mean, he said what ought to be said. He's keen on making sure that Ghana's productivity does not dip as a result of strike action by any labor organization or any labor union. He's committed to the cause. He's committed to ensuring a better welfare for workers. The issue raised by the labor experts with regards to having a proper, trustee whom you can trust or know that can run or adequately maintain and manage the funds that goes to them. It's very, very critical.
Yes.
And I like I said earlier on at the time, PAT had demonstrated that capacity, and they were more like the only trustee to have demonstrated that capacity, and that was the reason why it was given. But I want to rest assured the labor unions that whatever is in the letter and spirit in the letter and spirit of the law will be carried to its logical conclusion. I mean, they have the opportunity, as the law says, to appoint their own trustee. They will get that, but as I said, we need to let this investigation flow. We need to get to the point, if indeed somebody has slept on the job, then I believe that, like I identified earlier on, that person will be dealt with. I mean, there shouldn't be any hanky-panky with regards to labor. They should go about their duties. They should help government to develop and grow this country to where we all want to see this country.
All right. I want to thank you once again for coming in, George.
Thank you, Ben.
It's been George Spencer Quay, member of the government's communication team, and we were also speaking to Kwesi Danso Acheampong, who's a labour consultant, and we were discussing the organised labour and government tussle over the pension schemes. And not to forget that Vodafone are back with us. Yes, our sponsors are back, and you can join Vodafone today and enjoy double bonus on all top-ups for any call, local or international, or on any network, as well as double bonus when you buy internet packages up to 750 megabytes. You also get your used weekday credit back to spend over the weekend. Don't wait to get your Vodafone SIM card for just 2 Ghana cedis at all authorized retail outlets. Say hello to Vodafone. Vodafone, power to you.